Welcome to another edition of Smalltalk for You. This morning we're going to continue with the Seaside tutorial and VA Smalltalk. I wanted to point out a couple of things that I had to patch up between the last time I did one of these screencasts and now. First thing, in blog storage, I wanted to make sure that when we send default, we check for whether it's nil, and if it's not nil, if it is nil, go ahead and create a new one. So we did that. The other thing is kind of a thing that I'm not used to in VA because I've been using Pharo and VW more often, and that is that the new method doesn't automatically call initialize, which I've gotten used to, so I had to go ahead and create a new method in all of these classes, blog post, blog storage, and blog user, that looks like this, to make sure that my initialize method gets invoked. So that's one thing you want to change in the baseline code from the website. I'll update that so that if you download that, you'll get the updated stuff. But in any case, if you already have it loaded, go ahead and make that change. Moving along to what we have now, last time we got to this point where we were able to render this. Not very exciting. What we want now is to have a couple of posts and have those posts actually render. Well, first thing is we don't have an editor, so you might wonder, well, how are we going to get post? Well, we're going to fake it. What we're going to do is we're going to go over here to a workspace, and we're going to go ahead and create a user, and we're going to create a couple of post objects, stuff the timestamp and the user into them, right here in this workspace code, and then we're going to create a post that's dated yesterday so that we can look like we've been posting over time and see how that all looks. So we're just going to go ahead and execute all of this, and then before we do that, we're going to take a look at how we're going to render that. If we go into blog list view, remember I mentioned that the way these things work is that the component objects, and this is one of the WA component subclasses, know how to render. The way they know how to render is through the render content on message. It takes HTML as an argument, and you can go ahead and tell the HTML thing to put things out. What we're going to do here is just iterate over the posts in blog storage and tell each post to render itself on the HTML. So we're going to allow each post object, hey, I'm a post object, I might have specific things, I might have enclosures, I might have attachments, I might have other things. So each post is going to say, hey, I know how to render myself. So we're going to go up and look at where we've delegated that. I've written render post on here, and I'm just doing this, HTML paragraph colon. So I have a paragraph, I put the paragraph in a block. So everything in this block is going to go into a paragraph, and then I can do the same sort of thing with strong colon, the post title. I put a break, then I put my post content, and then a break. And notice here I'm saying HTML, HTML colon. Might be a little curious. Well, it turns out that if the content coming at me is already HTML, I don't want to go ahead and tell it. This is a paragraph, this is bold, this is whatever. I'm just going to have you throw it out as is and assume that it's going to render itself. So I'm going to just take the HTML and throw it out, and then finally put out text, post it on, and put the timestamp as a printed string. So let's go ahead and create these objects. So we'll go ahead here and we'll make sure that everything's initialized properly. We'll go down here and we'll execute this. So now we should have some stuff. And having created those methods, let's go in here and we'll just go ahead and refresh this. And sure enough, simple blog server, my test title, my content, posted on this time, old stuff, yesterday, posted at this time, so everything seems to work. Now, normally you would put these things in reverse chronological order, and that's the way this thing seems to be working out. If it wasn't, you'd have to go ahead and fix that, but I've just kind of forced the order. You might want to think about whether or not, if I didn't force the order, this would be rendering correctly. I'll leave that as an exercise to you to make sure that they're rendering in reverse chronological order. Not that hard, you just have to sort them the right way. So, that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with whatever Smalltalk you're using.